empowerment is a term that we often hear in the context of humanitarian discourse and international development. And one thing that it's important to be slightly cautious about is the idea of giving power to a group. So, perhaps more typically privileged Western actors giving power to a less privileged group of non-Western actors. And this implies a relation of dependency between those parties involved, and also a relation of inequality. So there are some who are more powerful and some who are less powerful, and it's difficult to see, if we aim for female empowerment in this sense, how we can get out of this situation where some are still more powerful than those who they're giving power to. So I think it's more important and useful to think about empowerment as a horizon and an aspiration, something that we can aim towards, and a situation where all human beings, male, female, in between, are able to define the terms of their own existence. And clearly, there are a few preconditions to what such agency involves. Poverty needs to be addressed, a basic standard of literacy, safety, security, and housing are all preconditions to being able to determine the terms of your own existence. But ultimately, I think that empowerment must be a horizon where people can define the terms and their own existence and lives free from stigma and shame, rather than a situation where we say, this is what a good life looks like, and we're going to try and give someone this good life. My short answer would be not very equal. Some of the key things that the feminist movement in Europe has sought to address haven't been addressed. Things like sexual violence, the predominance of men in power and masculine traits being associated and equated with powerful traits, abortion rights. These things are still challenges today. And unfortunately, we do still live in a world in Europe where, particularly in kind of Southern Europe, where masculinity and power are associated, and we do have, the election of people in power with known histories of sexual violence and sexual assault, and that seems to go unchecked. So I think there's still a long way to go before we live in a situation where the demands and the arguments of the feminist movement are put into practice. In short, I think feminism in the developed world has ignored choice and has had a narrow sense of what a good life for women looks like. I think that's been defined in sort of male terms, and I think it's also been defined in very Western terms. So as a result, that gives women less agency to say, this is what a good life means for me, and to shape the terms of their own lives, which is a key aspect of empowerment. I think another problem of feminism in the developed world is that it's also gone hand in hand with a military agenda. And so we know that a lot of wars, for example, the war in Afghanistan and Iraq, were defended in terms of empowering women, and in terms of, kind of almost liberating women. But we don't really see that that's happened. And actually, wars fought in Iraq and Afghanistan have done very little to improve the lives of women and improve the lives of families in countries as well. And women don't exist on their own. They are wives, mothers, sisters, daughters, and so wars that have been killing civilians and been killing men in countries such as Iraq and Afghanistan have done very little to give women more power and more agency. And I would say that feminism has been used, almost kind of co-opted as a defense of imperialism, rather than as actually kind of a grassroots movement that can give women more choice.